Hello, Mrs. Bradshaw here. Today we are doing Unit 2, Lesson 3. Our learning goal is let's share more things. So the first thing I have here is I have a fraction, and I want to know, how do I read this fraction? We can either read it as 4/6, or as you guys learned previously, the fraction bar can be read as divided by. So 4 divided by 6. Another way that I can write 4/6 is 4 divided by 6. How can I model 4/6? Well, if I drew one whole, I could split it into 6 equal parts. 6 equal parts, not 4. Try that again. And then I would shade 4 of those. So 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6. That would be 4/6. Another way I can model 4/6 is drawing 6. So if you thought of these as cookies, I would have that one, that one, that one, and that one. So 4 out of 6. Let's look at this one. How can I read this fraction? I can read this as 3/4, or I can read it, remember that fraction bar can mean the same thing as divided by. So 3 divided by 4. Another way I can write it is 3 divided by 4. These mean the same thing. I would have one whole dividing it into 4 parts, and I have 3 of them. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. How can I read this number? I can read it as 1/7, or I can read it as 1 divided by 7. 1 divided by 7. I can model this by drawing one whole and dividing it into 7 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to erase this and try to make them a little bit more equal. There we go. And I have one of those. So 1/7. So I have 2 diagrams here. I have this one here, the blue, and I have this one here, the yellow. I want to know, how are these 2 diagrams above the same? How are the 2 diagrams above different? And how much of one long rectangle is shaded in each picture? So I want you to pause the video here and see if you can answer those 3 questions. All right, so looking at these, I can tell that the 2 diagrams are the same because both diagrams are split into thirds. What I mean by that is each whole is split into 3 pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. How are they different? Well, I see that the first diagram has 1 hole, 2 holes. So the first diagram has 2 holes, and the second diagram has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. So that's how they are alike and different. And then it wants to know how many parts are shaded per one rectangle. So here's one hole. I have 1 out of 3 parts. So in each rectangle, there is 1/3 shaded in each picture. So if you want to take it a step further, you can say figure 1 or diagram 1 has 2/3 shaded, and diagram 2 has, let's see how many, has 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3 shaded. All right, so let's look at this one. Pause your video now and see if you can answer these questions. All right, how are they alike? Both diagrams have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. They are both diagrams are divided into fourths, meaning each whole is broken into 4 parts. How are they different? Diagram 1 has 3 holes. Diagram 2 has 2 holes. And how much of one long rectangle is shaded in each picture? So it's showing that there's only 1 out of the 4 pieces. So 1/4 of each hole is shaded. If you want to take it a step further, you can say diagram 1 has 1, 2, 3, 3/4 shaded. Diagram 2 has 1, 2/4 shaded. Complete the table. Draw a diagram if it is helpful. So I have this table. It says number of students, number of papers, a division expression I can use to find out how much paper each student will get. So if I have 6 students and 2 papers, what this is saying is I have 2 papers that I need to split evenly amongst 6 students. So 2 papers divided by 6 students. So I'm going to copy that division. 2 divided by 6. How much paper will each student get? So I'm going to draw my picture. I have 2 papers and I have 6 students. So I'm going to split each one of these into 6, and then I'm going to say 1 student would get that. Then I'm going to divide my second paper into 6 students, saying each student gets a piece, and then I'm going to shade and say that 1 student would get this. So each student would get 2/6 of a piece of paper. This one has the division expression for us. So I got to figure out number of students and number of papers. So look at what we did here. We said the number of papers divided by number of students. So the number of papers here is 4, and the number of students is 6. So then I have to figure out how much paper will each student get. So if I need to draw a picture, I can draw and say I have 4 papers, 1 paper, 2 papers, 3, 4, dividing it into 6 pieces for each student. I'm going to divide all of them into 6. And then I'm going to shade in one section, 1/6 of each one, to show that's how much 1 student would get. So 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6. Each student would get 4/6 of a piece of paper. All right, let's look at this one. So again, we have the division expression. So I have 6 pieces of paper divided by 7 students. So I can draw my picture of 6 pieces of paper divided by 7 students. When I draw that, I would get 6/7 of a piece of paper is what each student would get. On this one, it only gives us one of the numbers. So I know that when I'm going to divide, I'm going to have to do 4 divided by whatever number I choose. So you get to choose how many number of students you want. So if you want 10 students, you can choose 10 students. If you want 2 students, you can do 2. I'm going to go ahead and do 3 students. So 4 divided by 3 students. So I'm going to draw my 4 pieces of paper, and I'm going to divide each piece of paper by 3 people. So 1 student would get that, and now I need to figure out how many did that person get. So 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3. Each student is going to get 4/3 of a piece of paper.